Hey y'all, welcome back to Ray of All Trades. So I bought a jump pack. It lasted quite a while, but it's now not holding a charge. I literally just took it off charge and at 11.5 volts, something like that. It doesn't hold a charge. But what do you do when you get a, several $100 jump pack? And these are good ones. I think this is a, oh shoot, all the stickers are gone, so I couldn't tell you. But it's capable of providing a whole lot of power, a whole lot of juice. So it is worth fixing. These things are actually fairly easy to get, well, renewed, restored, put back, whatever you want to call it. This style jump pack does not have a disconnect for the positive leads, so we are going to be careful while we're working on it. We don't want those two to touch because even with the low power, if those two touched, it can actually produce quite a spark. It's only 12 volts, but I don't know if you've ever accidentally put a screwdriver or wrench across a battery. That's basically what's inside here is a battery. So this one has a whole bunch of Phillips head screws. Let's see if we can get these out. That one's missing. Okay. Well, we'll probably be able to get most of them back in, I guess. I think they're all loose. So, this is all it is. Corroded battery, and there's a pretty good chance that the battery itself is toast as well. I'll go ahead and take it out and clean it up, but I have a feeling that it's just no good anymore. So just make sure we don't misplace any wires. We'll fasten them all together. Okay, and before I start messing with this, let's make sure we have our right sizes here. So I'm going to go on out on a limb and say that this battery is toast because I'm seeing liquid come out of this thing, and I know that I didn't spill any liquid around it. So we're definitely buying a battery for this thing. The lock washer went flying. That side's done. What can be done on this side? Get a wrench on that side. Ooh. I think we're going to end up cutting this side off. Let's see if any kind of a cleaner will get this. Keep in mind, this is battery acid, so use your normal precautions. Probably should have rubber gloves on right now. Okay, let me get my tools cleaned up. WD-40. Got to protect your tools. These aren't even expensive ones. Go ahead and put this here for now. Having to order some parts, namely a battery. All the bolt, the washers, all that's trash. And all I'm going to do is jump on Amazon, Jungle Store, as people like to call it, and look up a UB12220 battery, AGM, non-spillable, obviously. And if there's several different sizes, obviously I'll measure the sizes because it has to fit inside that same footprint. And just in case you guys need that footprint, on the off chance you got the exact same one, it looks like width is 7 inches. Depth is 3 inches. And height is 6 5/8. Before we put it together, we're going to be probably cleaning the heavy gauge one and then probably replacing the smaller gauge ones. Alright y'all, I'll bring you back as soon as I have a battery. 2 days later, battery's here. Mighty Max battery. Limited time offer. Register. Extend your warranty. 3 months. Oh, they gave me some new hardware with it. I wonder if those are long enough. I was just digging through to find some new hardware. Floating use 13.6 to 13.8. Initial current less than 6.6 amps. Cycle use 14.6, 14.8. Oh well, hopefully all that's good. 12.9 volts. So it's pretty well charged right now. My last battery was a 12 volt 22 amp hour battery, so I'm hoping it's the same. It looked identical. I need to clean up some of these connectors before I get too far. But let's go ahead and cut this out of here. And then these connectors, looks like there's 3 wires on this one, and they're all pretty well corroded. What I wanted to do was try to put all of them in the same lug if I can. Let's see what we have here. Well, that one doesn't appear to be too corroded. This one's super thin gauge. This one is actually the charging wire. That's pretty small. This one is the cigarette lighter wire. And then this one is the circuit breaker. Let's twist those up. Kind of curious if it'll fit on the blue connector. If not, I've got a yellow one. I really want it to be as snug as possible. That actually fit pretty nicely. I like these connectors because you can see through them. I think we're going to use the blue one on this one. Yellow one would have been a little bit on the loose side, and the blue one's obviously a little bit on the tight side. Let's use the blue side here. What I noticed on these crimpers, if I do both sides, I feel like I get a better crimp out of it. Yep, that did nicely. All right. Then I have the main jumper wire, which I can clean this up, but if I can replace this, I think I would rather do that. That's the biggest one I have here. I think it might fit. It's going to be super close. I might be kicking myself for cutting this thing loose here, but we're going to try it. What does it say it does? Claims it'll do 2 gauge, and this is 4 gauge wire. Actually, I take that back. I guess this one is the 2 gauge. This is for 4 gauge. Let's cut it loose, strip it back, and work with some brand new wire. Oh yeah, that fits pretty nicely actually. Got a really good crimp on here. Like these little kits. Nice solid copper, and then they have a slit on at the nose of all of them. So when you crimp this down, you can solder them. You know, heat them up, and you can actually solder them, and you can see the solder run from either side. It's a pretty nice little kit, pretty cheap. Some very off-brand whatever. I just opted to go with the crimp on this one. It fits pretty nicely. I'll take this lead off of here so that I don't bump something and then they jump together. So this is not the original charger, I'm noticing. It's got some duct tape holding it in place, you know, to make up space, I guess. So that's not the original charger. But I do know that that charger worked for a while. Let's go ahead and put the cover back on, and then let me think about a way to load test this thing. Let me dig through my stash. I think I got a couple extra screws here. Let's put this thing back the way it was. That'll work. Now, I was trying to come up with a way to load test this, and I guess I can go get one of my cars and disconnect the battery and see if it jump starts it. Let's see, I'm up in the green, 12, it's reading like 12, over 12.5% of charge. I'm sitting roughly, it says about 85%, something like that. So the way we used to load test batteries was we just used a old school, I think these are 100 amp load testers. Now there's all kinds of fancy ones, they're digital and all that. This is how we used to test them, right? You have a charging system, which is up here in the OK. You see there's a red on each side. That's if you're testing the charging system. If you're testing the 12 volt battery, there's a white arrow right there. Basically, that's where your 12 volts would be. And what you're looking for, this is a graduated scale. So if you have a 500 amp CCA battery, cold cranking amp battery, you would expect it to stay green all the way up to there. If you had a 700, you see where the 700 block is, you would expect it to go, I'm hoping glare is not getting you guys, you would expect it to stay green until that point. And then working its way across. If it was 1,000, you expect it to stay green until there. All you're doing when you press that button is you're allowing the current to come through this big resistor here in the back, and it gets super hot. I used to call it an egg fryer. So anyway, you squeeze the button, count to 10, and look and see what it does. So let's see if this thing will actually jumpstart something. Yeah, it dropped down into the red category, but it's actually holding really well. And that brought me into 50 to 75 amps, or excuse me, 50 to 75% state of charge. I think that would actually do a pretty good job. The 500 is down there, you notice. So this thing, probably if I was running a 400 CCA battery, it would probably still be green. And let's see how this thing compares. I've got a whole nother one of these boxes that's newer. And we can just compare how this one does to that one. So when these things are testing wow, that gets warm. When these things are testing a car battery, that's a big lead acid battery, you know. So, and this thing doesn't weigh anywhere close to that. This is just a little portable battery. Here's another one that I picked up. This one here runs just fine. Like I said, this one's a lot newer than the other one, but it's the same. Okay, got that one connected up. Again, running right there at that green bar. Let's see how this one compares. Yep, right there at the exact same spot. It bounces right back. So yeah, these things are behaving exactly the same, and I can tell you that this one here jump starts cars all the time. Nice, easy, cheap way to restore one of these boxes. For me, I love them because the newer jump packs require a charge a lot of times in order for them to work at all. These, I don't have to even have a battery in it. I can literally just go plug this box in and it doesn't really matter. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't have the same safeties. If you short them, basically it's just like a battery. It'll weld them together. So this is just like having a portable battery without having to carry around a big old lead acid battery. And you can see they're super strong. It may not show it on here, but I mean, that's it. This thing can jumpstart cars. It can jumpstart lawnmowers, which is what I use it for. Super portable. I can run my winch on it. So you ever find one of these in a yard sale, you can get it put back together for not a lot of money. I think it was 50 bucks maybe ish, something like that. Hope you all got something out of the video. Really appreciate you hanging out. I will catch you guys on the next one.